My friends, new and old, I welcome you. My name is Joseph. To our newest members, I see you. I feel your presence. You have arrived at a crucial hour, drawn by the same pull of conscience, the same refusal to forget a little girl's face. Please stand with us. Make your commitment known. Subscribe, join our family, and listen closely. What I share with you today is not just another fragment of a story. It is a new path, a corridor of light opening in a long dark tunnel. This might be the key. This might be the turn we have been waiting for. For Summer Wells. For over 4 years, the hills of Beech Creek, Tennessee, have held a silence unlike any other. It is a silence woven from the echoes of a name called a million times into the woods, from prayers whispered into the humid night air, from the deafening quiet of a home where a child should be. The story is simple in its horror. A warm June evening, the 15th of 2021. A 5-year-old girl named Summer Moon Wells, last seen in gray pants and a pink shirt, possibly barefoot. She steps out of view. And then, she is gone. The eruption that followed was a furious, desperate kind of love. Neighbors became search parties. Strangers became volunteers. The trees were lit by the flashlights of people who refused to accept the dark. Helicopters beat the air above the dense canopy, their mechanical thrum a sound of modern hope against ancient, rugged land. The child's face, smiling and bright, was on every screen, on every poster, in every mind. An Amber Alert carved her description into the consciousness of an entire state. The Wells family, her parents Don and Candace, stood before cameras, their faces maps of a devastation so raw it was difficult to witness. The world watched, held its breath, and waited for the miracle. But the land kept its secrets. The steep, snarled terrain of Hawkins County, with its thick underbrush and hidden hollows, revealed nothing. Days bled into weeks. The massive, human search shrank down to the determined, professional work of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and the FBI. Leads were chased, thousands of them, over 6,000 tips from a concerned and horrified public. Each one was a flicker of possibility, and each one, it seemed, led to another locked door. The family's other children were taken into state custody, a private tragedy playing out on a public stage. Don Wells faced his own legal troubles, a DUI arrest that felt like a cruel sidebar to the main, agonizing narrative. The reward for information grew, a pot of gold that promised an end to the pain, reaching over $58,000. And then, in a move that felt like a funeral for hope, a judge ordered that money donated away. Time itself became the enemy. Summer missed her 6th birthday. Then her 7th. The TBI released an age-progressed image, a ghost of a possibility, a guess at what she might look like if she were still out there, growing up without us. The official word came down that the family had stopped cooperating. The case grew cold. Not closed, but cold, a vital distinction. It sat, a heavy, frozen thing, in the hearts of everyone who remembered her name. For years, that was the story. A mystery suspended in amber, a single, tragic frame repeating itself, a missing girl, a rugged landscape, a trail gone cold. The public's attention, as it must, drifted to other horrors. But in the quiet rooms of the investigation, the work never stopped. Digital evidence, phones, computers, the footprints we leave in the invisible world, was sifted grain by grain. Old statements were read for the 10th, the 20th time. Maps were stared at until the paper grew soft. And then, in the fall of 2025, a whisper. It was a lead. Just one, among the thousands. But this one had a different texture, a different weight. It carried a new coordinate. On November 13th, the stillness of Van Hill Road in Greenville, Tennessee, was broken. Not by the sound of children playing, but by the solemn arrival of official vehicles. Agents from the TBI and detectives from the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office converged on a property in the 3500 block. They carried a search warrant, a piece of paper that is a culmination of suspicion, of probable cause, of a story half told. The significance of this address is not in its name, but in its distance. Van Hill Road is not in Beech Creek. It is 9.5 nearly 10 miles away from the front door of the house on Ben Hill Road where Summer Wells was last seen. This is the turn. This is the new path. For 4 years, the search had radiated out from a single point, like ripples from a stone dropped in a pond. Every theory, every rumor, every frantic search of the woods was anchored to that home, to those acres. The unspoken assumption was that the answer, whatever it was, lay somewhere in that difficult, green maze. Van Hill Road shatters that assumption. It draws a line on the map. It speaks not of a child wandering into the trees, but of a connection. Of movement. Of a destination. Think of what this means. 10 miles. It is a distance that lives in the realm of the automobile, of deliberate travel. It pulls the mind back to the earliest days of the investigation, to a specific and urgent public plea. On June 25, 2021, just 10 days after Summer vanished, authorities asked the public for help finding a vehicle. They described it with precision, a 1998 to 2000 maroon or red Toyota Tacoma, with a full bed ladder rack and white buckets in the truck bed. They released a sketch of a potential witness, a man who might have been driving it. And then, publicly, the truck vanished from the narrative. Was it ever found? Was the witness ever identified? The official silence on this point has been deafening. But now, with investigators physically searching a property 10 miles away, the ghost of that red Tacoma returns. It is no longer just a vehicle of interest, it is a potential bridge between 2 points on a map, between a tragedy on Ben Hill Road and a search on Van Hill Road. Who waits at the end of that bridge? The property on Van Hill Road is not a random vacant lot. It belongs to someone. The TBI has not released that name, guarding it as they guard all the cards in their hand. But the questions are now unavoidable. Who lives there, or who has ties to that land? What is their connection, if any, to the Wells family? Is it a friend from a past life? A distant relative lost in the sprawling network of a rural community? A business acquaintance? Or is it someone whose name has never once been spoken in connection with this case, a shadow who has moved in the periphery for 4 long years? The distance itself suggests a degree of separation, a buffer zone. It feels like a place you would go to if you did not want something found near home. The work at the property was methodical, quiet. Officials have said nothing about what, if anything, they removed. They have not declared a breakthrough. In the careful language of law enforcement, they have only confirmed an action based on a lead. But in the economy of a stalled investigation, action is everything. It is the physical manifestation of hope. It means a piece of information, a memory, a guilt, a digital trace, a long-held suspicion, was deemed credible enough, strong enough, to mobilize resources years after the trail was said to have gone cold. It means someone, somewhere, finally spoke, or finally remembered, or finally broke. This new direction forces a reckoning with all the old stories. The early theories that captivated the online world must now be measured against this 10-mile line. The intense scrutiny of the family's every word and gesture, the endless debates about what happened in that home in the hours before the alarm was raised, must now share the stage with this new, geographic fact. It does not erase those questions, but it places them in a different, wider frame. It suggests that the truth may not be contained within the walls of a single house or the boundaries of a single wooded hollow. It may be a story that starts in one place and ends in another. The authorities have been clear, especially now. They have watched as the void of information has been filled with the noise of speculation, with YouTube theories and social media conspiracies that spin elaborate tales from thin air. They have pleaded with the public. The TBI spokesperson has said directly that such rumors hinder the investigation and flood our tip lines with fiction. This is a critical instruction for this new moment. The Van Hill Road lead is a delicate thread. Pulling on it requires the steady hands of professionals, not the frantic grasping of a crowd. Our role is not to invent the story, but to support the uncovering of the real one. Our role is to look with clear eyes, to remember with honest hearts, and to come forward if we hold a piece of this puzzle. For someone does hold a piece. That is the unwavering truth of this, and of every cold case. Time does not erase truth, it just buries it deeper. But buried things have a way of surfacing. A conscience cracks under the weight. A relationship sours and a secret spills out. A person, cleaning out a garage or an old phone, finds a photograph, a note, a memory they had compartmentalized away. The 10 miles between Ben Hill Road and Van Hill Road were crossed by someone. They were seen by someone. A peculiar behavior was noticed by someone. A fragment of a conversation was overheard by someone. That someone may be you. You may be watching this right now, a new member to our search, carrying a burden you have never known what to do with. You may have thought it was nothing. You may have been afraid. You may have promised to forget. But the image of that little girl, the sheer wrongness of her absence, will not let you. The arrival of investigators on Van Hill Road is a signal. It means the ground is shifting. It is safe to speak. It is time to speak. The Amber Alert for Summer Moon Utah Wells has never been cancelled. It remains active in the system, a persistent electronic heartbeat. She would be 8 years old. Someone is raising her, or someone knows where she rests. There is no statute of limitations on a missing child. There is no expiration date on the truth. So this is our call, my friends. This is the reason you hit that subscribe button. This is the work. If you know something about a red Toyota Tacoma from that summer, about a property on Van Hill Road, about a person who acted differently in the days and weeks after June 15, 2021, about a secret you were asked to keep, you must unburden yourself. You must pick up the phone and call the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation at 1-800-TBIFIND. You do not have to give your name. You just have to give the truth. What seems small to you may be the knot that untangles the entire rope. Share this update. Speak Summer's name. Let her face be the last thing people see before they scroll away. We are not an audience to a mystery. We are participants in a search. The authorities have taken a step onto a new path. They cannot walk it alone. They need the light of public awareness, and they need the courage of one person with a key. This is the next improvement. This is the movement we have prayed for. The door has been located. It is up to all of us to help turn the handle. Stay with me. Stay with Summer. God bless you for your courage, and may we all find the strength to see this through.